Oh, yes, yes, yes. Tell them I'm on. Tell them I'm on. Good morning. Great morning. Fantastic morning. And happy new day. I know it's January the 1st, 2023. But guess what? You may say Happy New Year. I've learned to say Happy New Day because the God that I serve chose to wake me up this morning. And if you're listening to me now, he woke you up this morning too. To God be all the glory. I am Edwina B. Many of you have seen me over the years in one form or another, but recently, the last couple years, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, sharing my experience, strength, and hope of being in a 12-step spiritual program for close to 33 years. If God wakes me up on February the 23rd of 2023, we will be celebrating 33 years in recovery from alcohol, drug addiction, and the whole lifestyle. To God be the glory. So, I'm here because I want to share with you my perspective on the Alcoholics Anonymous Daily Reflections, right? And that is a instrument we who are in recovery use to focus just on today. What is the message? What is the spiritual purpose of today? And it gives us some guidelines on what to focus on. So I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud and grateful member for, like I say, over 32 plus years, soon to be 33 this year, 2023. And I also want to share with you that my recovery has been enhanced so much by being introduced to the 5 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz Sr. and Jr. Honey, I haven't been able to put that book down. Where you at? I'm going to be sharing about this today, right here. Here's the book, y'all. Y'all need to get it. Y'all need to get it, okay? And so I'm just excited. What can I say? Okay, so now you also know that I am a transparent person, that I believe in taking off the mask. And for the amount of time that I've been in recovery, I've learned to take the mask off, right? So and if you know me, this is a wig. These are not my teeth. They are dentures. But when I introduce myself in the morning, I come just like this, just to let you know that I'm not ashamed of who I am. I love Edwina today, and I love who God has made, what God made me, and who God is making me to be prepared for things yet to come, like sitting in front of you, cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. So let's take off the mask. Yeah. And let's fluff that hair up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sing. You like me now? Should I? I'm gonna do it for a minute because I want to know: do you love me? Do you still love me with or without my teeth? Without my wig? Hopefully so. Put them back in so I can articulate these words. Okay. Uh, uh, Now, first of all, let's take a sip of our coffee. This morning I'm drinking coffee. Yesterday, when I started my launch again for 2023, I was drinking ginger tea, and that's because I had already had my coffee. So this morning is coffee. I am so excited. I am so excited, y'all. So I pray that you all are well, and I pray that you will be encouraged and empowered by the information that I share with you from my perspective, and to also share with you the additional instruments, tools, activities, principles that I have used to enhance my recovery. And so I always start off with sharing what the Alcoholics Anonymous Daily Reflections reading is for today, January the 1st. Of course, the year changes, but the date still stays the same. So for over, this is, let me see, yeah, 33 years I've been reading the daily reflections, right? And so it's January the 1st, 2023. So even though it's a new year, for me, it's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new day. Okay. And so, with that being said, I'm going to read the reflection reading out loud. And then I know most of you are going to hear me, but I want you to listen to me and what I am reading. And then we're going to introduce you again in a written form, the 5 agreements that I didn't have available yesterday. Okay. And guess what, y'all? Yesterday, the reason why I couldn't read the information is because one of my lenses was out of the socket. And that's why I couldn't read it, right? I was like, well, how you do this? How you do that? But you know what? If you see yesterday's tape, you'll see that, Edwina, you're missing a lens. That's why you can't read. But guess what? I did the best I could, and you'll hear that because that's one of the agreements that we'll be talking about. Okay, so I only have a half hour with you, and so let's start with the daily reflection for today. All right, so let's do this. Okay. All right, so let me get myself out the picture, all right? And let me, okay. Mm-hmm. And let me move this banner. Okay, let's move this banner. Okay. All right, so Alcoholics Anonymous Daily Reflections, January the 1st, 2023. I am a miracle. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do by ourselves. And this comes from Alcoholics Anonymous, page 25. And so the person in recovery states, this truly is a fact in my life today and a real miracle. I always believed in God, but could never put that belief meaningfully into my life. Today, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I now trust and rely on God as I understand Him. I am sober today because of that. Learning to trust and rely on God was something I could never have done alone. I now believe in miracles because I am one. Oh my God. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? All right, so let's reread it. And I'm going to spend a few minutes to give you my perspective, right? It says here, I am a miracle. Now, think about it. Are you in touch right now with your breathing? Can you take a deep breath? Can you feel the air blowing out of your mouth? Just the fact that we are alive and we are breathing should say to you, to say to me, this is a miracle. How am I doing this? How am I doing this? How am I feeling? How am I touching? How am I seeing this? Wow, I didn't know what miracles was, but if I look at myself and look at what I'm doing, and not me, but around the world, around the globe, this is a miracle. Yes, okay? But from an alcoholic's point of view, we have a different take on being a miracle. And it says it here. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. Now, let me know anything about being in recovery, because we're all recovering from something, right? And so when I think about how I was raised, and no, and it was told to me that God was a punishing God, and God's going to get you, Edwina, because you're a bad girl, right? And so my conception of a God was distorted, right, based on what I was told. All right. And so as a result of being in this process almost 33 years, I have learned differently. And so it was on February the 22nd of 1990 that I called God into my heart, into my life, while underneath a parked car, 3 o'clock in the morning in the streets of Philadelphia. Yep, underneath a parked car, right? So I'll get into my story later. But I'm saying at what this said here, right? It says, okay, come on, let's do this. Um, okay. It says, the central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. While underneath that parked car, I hollered out to a God that I didn't know personally to take me out this life or to show me a better way, right? As a result, He has commenced to accomplish those things for me, for us, which we could never do by ourselves. And that's one of the things that most people in recovery find out, that the God that we don't know, but the God that created us all is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. But He is waiting for every knee to bow and every tongue to confess that He is, right? And so once we do that, through that humiliating experience on February the 22nd of 1990, underneath that parked car, right? I hollered out, take me out this life or show me a better way, because I don't know you. I heard about you. And He commenced to put me on the pathway to recovery, right? And so as a result of that, we alcoholics who are in recovery, we understand the fact that we could not do it alone. We tried. And with the first step, I am powerless over alcohol, my life has become unmanageable, that we realized that we could not do it by ourselves. So when the writer says this truly is a fact in my life today and a real miracle, right? Today, I am in touch with, I'm breathing, I'm speaking, I have a function of my limbs and all of that, right? I am a miracle. And with the 5 agreements, woo, I can't wait to get to that. But let me stay on the reflection reading for the day. I got 2 more minutes for that, because I do want to spend some time on the agreements, right? And so it says, I always believed in God. I didn't. But could never put the belief meaningful into my life, right? Now, in Alcoholics Anonymous, we look for the similarities and not the difference, right? But I can agree with him on this. Today, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I now trust and rely on God as I understand Him. See? That's the key. In Alcoholics Anonymous, we don't force you to believe in nothing, right? Nothing, right? And so you come up with your idea of a loving and caring God of your understanding, the creator, the universe, right? The one who created all of us, who created the world, the universe, the hemisphere, the atmosphere, right? And so it continues to say, I am sober today because of that. Right? I am sober today because of that. I could not rely on my family, my children, my mom, my dad to get me sober and keep me sober. But through the God of my understanding and me calling out to Him after having that knee bowing experience, I called out, help me. And He's been helping me ever since. So why wouldn't I rely on that every day, all day? Right? And so it says, learning to trust and rely on God was something I could never have done alone. I'm not doing it alone. Listen. And I'm never alone, right? And I'm just so happy to know that, I am a miracle today. I am a miracle today. And guess what? You are too. All right? So go to aa.org And that's the Alcoholics Anonymous website. Again, I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but been a proud member coming up on 33 years, one day at a time. All right. And so do your own research. Come and visit us at an open meeting. If you're just interested in finding out what we do, we have closed meetings, which are for Alcoholics Anonymous, alcoholics only. So whatever. Go to aa.org and do your own research, and I hope to see you. Now I want to get to the 5 agreements. All right. So, let's see. Now, what I want to share with you, right, is an overview like I tried to read yesterday of the 5 agreements. Now I have it in writing, okay? And I know Instagram, you can't see it, but you know, you got to listen, right? So the 5 agreements, if you go to Miguel Ruiz, MiguelRuiz.com, you will get all the information on his agreements. All right. So let's talk about the 5 agreements. I stumbled on these 5 agreements at my new part-time job, right? About a couple months ago. And I also remember seeing this book at one of my speaking engagements in Baltimore, because one of my clients had this book, but I never paid it any mind. And so when I got the part-time job and I saw this book, I was interested in it because number one is it's very colorful, right? It's very colorful. And then it says the 4 agreements. Then I see something that says a wisdom book. Well, guess what? The 12-step program is a spiritual program, and anything that has to do with enhancing my spiritual wisdom, I want to know. And so I flipped through it, but then again, I remember reading the inner flap, right? Okay. And so this is what I'm going to share with you today, and we will be diving more into the 5 agreements every day, because I'm going to apply them from my perspective to the daily reflections from my perspective and how they will help me. All right. So let's talk about the very first one. All right. It says here, 1, be impeccable with your word. Be impeccable with your word. Okay. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Wow. Let me read that again. Be impeccable. And most of you will say, what does impeccable mean? Okay. And we're going to share that definition with you, right? Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say only what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Okay? Impeccable is sinning against yourself. Being impeccable is not sinning against yourself and others. Okay? And so let's see the example. Example 1. Be impeccable with your word, right? And so I was told I will never be nothing, and they are right. And they were right, right? Right? Avoid using the word to speak against you or to gossip about others. It's what I'm speaking on, right? So the example was, before I read this, I was told I will never be nothing, and they were right. I believed their statement about me, right? And so I began to tell myself what they told me, and I believed it. And that's called an agreement, right? Example 2, it says, speaking against yourself or to gossip about others. Example number 2 would be Did you hear that Mary and Joe are having an affair? Right? That's gossiping. That's sinning against someone else, right? And it's really sinning against yourself because you are perpetuating, by gossiping. All right. And so I'm still getting this all raveled in, but I'm trying to get through this with the time that I have. But I will spend more time on each agreement as I move forward. All right. And so the next agreement, it says, don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Example, my mother said I was just like my dad. Bad. Example number 2, you can't sing. Your voice is awful. If I relate it to recovery, someone will say, you'll never stop drinking. You're drunk and you always will be a drunk, right? Okay. And if we were to take that personally in recovery, it could really cause some emotional damage to us, right? And some people will take it to heart and believe it. It's not true. All right. All right. So don't take anything personally was agreement number 2. Okay. Agreement number 3 says, don't make any assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstanding, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life. Wow. Find the courage to ask questions and to express what you really want. Communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. With just this one agreement, you can completely transform your life, right? So, example number 1, he is late because he is cheating on me. That's an assumption, right? How many of us makes assumptions all the time, all right? Example number 2, even though I studied, I know I failed that test. That's an assumption, right? All right. So now let's go to agreement number 4. Always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. I'll read that again. This is always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. It will be different when you are healthy as opposed to sick. Under any circumstances, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. Example, Forrest Gump. He was happy doing all that he did. Why? Because he was not seeking any rewards. He was just happy doing what he did, when he did it, and how he did it, without expecting any rewards. He did his best all the time, right? Another example, I make every effort not to miss my AA meetings. That's doing my best. Listen, I've been in this process going on 33 years, and I can count on 2 hands if I've missed a meeting. And it was because either I was unable to connect or I don't know. But I'm telling you that I haven't missed many meetings in my almost 33 years. I do my best in making my meetings every day. Okay, so let's go to agreement number 5. It says, be skeptical, but learn to listen. It reads, don't believe yourself or anybody else unconditionally. Use the power of doubt to question everything you hear. Is it really the truth? Listen to the intent behind the words and you will understand the real message. I'll read that again. The 5th agreement is be skeptical, but learn to listen. Don't believe yourself or anybody else unconditionally. You say, don't believe yourself sometimes, right? Use the power of doubt to question everything you hear. Is it really the truth? Listen to the intent behind the words and you will understand the real message. Example one, I I tell myself that I can't do anything right. That's supposed to be tell. I tell myself that I can't do anything right. Mm. I'm telling myself that I can't do anything right. Now, Edwina, you know doggone well that is not the truth. But, right? I'm skeptical of myself because different situations may bring about different emotions. And I may feel sometime and tell myself I can't do anything right. Okay. Example number two, John said he will be a millionaire in 1 year. I hear you, John. I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, John. So, but John is telling me, and he wants me to believe it. And John is, adamant about he's going to be a millionaire. I hear you, John. But guess what? I'm from Missouri. Show me, right? And so all of this is what I'm trying to share with you, the agreements, right? And how I can and will practice these agreements in my daily living and recovery. And so anything that will enhance my walk with God and being prepared for things yet to come, I want to do. So I want you to, again, do your own research. The daily reflections, AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, 12-step program that has 12 spiritual principles, right? So you go to aa.org. Come visit us at a open meeting and you will see me. You will see me at a closed meeting for alcoholics only, right? And these 12 spiritual principles that we've been practicing in all our affairs. And that's the same thing with the 5 agreements. The more we practice those agreements and understanding them and learning about them and practicing unlearning what we learned in order for us to learn something better. Did you get that? Right? And so when you talk about the 5 agreements, again, it is from, right? Let me put this name down here. It is from Don Miguel Ruiz Sr. and Jr. The 5 agreements, which are, again, be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally. Don't make assumptions, right? Always do your best. Be skeptical and learn to listen. All right. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is just to review the reading for today. Okay. So let's do the reading for today. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so let's go here. The daily reflections, right? I am a miracle, right? And please believe this, because if you weren't a miracle, you wouldn't be listening and hearing what I'm saying right now. January the 1st, 2023, I am a miracle. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do by ourselves. AA page 25. Okay? This truly is a fact in my life today and a real miracle. I always believed in God. That wasn't my story in the beginning. I heard about God, but could never put that belief meaningfully into my life. Today, because of Alcoholics Anonymous, I now trust and rely on God as I understand Him. I am sober today because of that. Learning to trust and rely on God was something I could never have done alone. I now believe in miracles because I am one. Are you a miracle? Yes, you are. Circumstances, situations, what we call life on life terms, is exactly what it is. But if you could imagine Not being here, not being in existence. Wow. But the fact that you are. And so, for one day at a time, I'm going to come to you with the daily reflection reading for today from Alcoholics Anonymous, give you my perspective. And I'm also going to include the 5 agreements, right? And interject them so it can complement my recovery each and every day. Until we meet again, be safe, and learn to love yourself. This way, you can learn to love others. Goodbye.